Welcome on into a live edition of the Cleveland Browns Report. Matthew Peterson here, running through the latest on the Brownies following the NFL draft as we get towards, OTAs and minicamp and all those other off-season dates. So we're going to talk all about some of the, I guess we'll call it drama. I don't really know what better word to describe what we're seeing between Shedeur Sanders' camp and, the Cleveland media, and I guess the Browns lumped into that as well. And then we're going to look at my rankings for all 7 picks made by the Browns in this draft class. But who is your favorite pick from the draft for Cleveland? Factor in where they got them, and how much you like the pick as well. For me, I'm a bit of a spoiler. I really like the Harold Fannin pick. I'm going to spend a whole video talking about him soon because I feel like that was a great sleeper round 3 selection that I'm very excited for. So let me know who your favorite pick was. McLothan says, Judkins, cool guys here. Josh, I was thinking of you yesterday, not in a weird way. I'm so sorry about Martin Emerson. Joshua Miller is cursed when he gets jerseys. He got a Cade York jersey, went downhill. Gets a Martin Emerson jersey, changes numbers. I feel like Martin Emerson should buy you a new jersey. That seems only fair, to be honest. Mike says Dylan Gabriel. Cool guy says Harold Fannin. Brian Phelps, probably Judkins, intrigued by Fannin. Yeah, all good points you guys are raising right now. So let me know who your favorite draft pick was in the comment section right now. We're going to give the audience a few minutes to build up. But as always, shout out your city for me in the chat. I love this dog pound because it's so fun to see how far and wide it stretches. It knows no borders. It knows no boundaries. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Get in the chat right now. I'm going to give shout-outs to everyone who does so. We've got a fun show laid out for you guys today. We're going to run through some of the news and rumors on the Shedeur Sanders front. Then I'm going to show you my rankings for all 7 picks made by Cleveland in the draft. And finally, a mailbag. So if you have any questions or takes or ideas you'd like to see on screen, use hashtag Browns or Super Chat. If you Super Chat like Joshua Miller, like so many other great viewers, you skip the line and we throw it on screen for everyone watching to see. So that's what we got in store for you all today. I've got Diamonds watching from Kansas City. Mike is in Wake Forest, Raleigh-Durham. Shirley is in Alabama. McLothan is in Canton, Ohio, just like Harold Fannin. Very true. Jeep Wolf says F. Pitt. I like it. Byron is in Denton, Maryland. We've got Roy here from Berlin. Roy, great to see you. Always hanging out with us. John's in Dayton. Josh is 45. Talking about, wait, you're 45 miles north of his alma mater right now? I thought he went to high school in Canton. Michael is in Niagara Falls, Ontario. Ben with a $2 super chat. Let's go. I like it, Ben. We'll throw it on screen, and then we'll jump into the first segment on today's show. Jeep Wolf is in Louisville, Ohio. Mike thinks Pickett will be cut. I'm not so sure about that. Ben, chop, newsboy. What's up with Shedeur? You're right, Ben. Let's not mess around. Let's get right into it. Are you ready? I'm newsboy. It's like that one clip. Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy? Let's get sketch. All right, here we go. Yeah. Spit out the facts, talking monkey. So let's talk about Shedeur Sanders because I feel like this video has not been a long time coming, but it's been a few days coming where it's just started to snowball a little bit, and I thought, hey, let's discuss this, shall we? Let's have a nice group conversation. Joshua Miller, yeah, you might be the kiss of death right now. Let's look at kiss of death. Let's look at Miller's super real quick, and then Newsboy has some news and rumors to share. 105 people tuned in right now. We have 17 likes. If you have not yet, please do me a big favor. Click that thumbs up button down below. Mike is getting a question. And yeah, use hashtag Browns in the chat for your question to get on screen. We've got a few super chats coming in as soon as Reed is ready. He was talking shit about another producer who's having difficulty with super chats. And now he's having issues. Yeah. That's what he said yesterday. And look what's going on. Joshua Miller, making me nervous about what jersey to get next. Josh, what rookie jersey would you want to get the most? And let me know, and then I have a response to that response. We have another one with Joshua Miller usually it's Joshua Miller with a $2 super chat, but in this case, it's Joshua Miller with a $1,000 super chat. Sanders will be elite. Let's all hope and pray, because that would be an awesome outcome for all parties involved. Fingers crossed. I'm not as confident as you are, but I wish I had that type of confidence when it comes to Shedeur's NFL projection and outlook. All right. Are we ready to rumble? Okay. I don't want to make Ben any more impatient. Yep. All right. Here we go. We need to talk about Shedeur Sanders, his camp, having beef and skirmishes and feuds already with the Cleveland media and now with the Browns themselves. So this really all started a week ago when we had ESPN Cleveland put out a clip on Twitter of course, some of the usual suspects talking about the Browns and putting a little bit of drama in there. And hey, that's their job. I'm guilty of it too from time to time. I'm not shaming that. But in this case, what we saw was Tony Grossi, right, get a little bit upset with the Browns, with Shedeur Sanders going to social media and sharing his trip to a Cleveland high school where Tony Rizzo, excuse me. Let's start over. I got the wrong names in there. Yeah. We're live. It doesn't happen very often, but I screwed up. And I don't want to, put the wrong guy, in a foxhole. So we're going to restart. I made a boo-boo. My mistake. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, usually we average a restart like one every 4 videos, I'd say. So I happened to be in live. Okay. Here we go. Take 2. We ready? This is not good for my PR look right now. I know, but I don't want to say the wrong name. The wrong Tony. Here we go. We need to talk about Shedeur Sanders and his camp, which I think is mostly just his camp, already having some tiffs and some feuds with the Cleveland media and directly with the Browns themselves. So this all started about a week ago when this clip from ESPN Cleveland made its rounds on social media with Tony Rizzo and Aaron Goldhammer talking about this video of Shedeur Sanders going to a Cleveland high school. And it was Goldhammer and Rizzo talking about their distaste for how everything needs to be documented on social media as if it's all for the publicity. And you can see someone from Shedeur's camp quote tweeting it saying Shedeur did not post anything, kind of putting the onus on the camp for sharing that, and it's not fair to blame Shedeur for something he did not post, which I completely agree with. I feel that very often the actions of the camp are associated with the player itself. And while maybe that's true or fair some of the time or a lot of the time, maybe not all the time. And maybe this is one of those instances where Shedeur was just going to his school in his new city and someone from his team videoed it, since I kind of feel like that's their job. I'm not entirely sure. When we use the broad term of Shedeur's camp, who's in his camp? Like, really, is it his friends? Are they on his payroll? I like to think it's just the entourage cast. But I don't really know if that's actually what it looks like. So that's what kind of got this going here. And then we got some more Cleveland media members chiming in, like Ben saying members of Shedeur's camp are already going after local media members. Maybe he's a perfect fit for Cleveland after all. And that was not well received by a lot of people, saying maybe the players aren't the problem. Maybe the media members are the problem, since they're the one that created a story out of this by turning it into a negative for Shedeur going to the school and it being shared online. So that to me right there was not a video, worthy type of interaction. But then we got this from someone else that is associated and tied to Shedeur Sanders. It was an Instagram story where they said, There's no way Cleveland Browns should have gave number 2 to anyone else, especially to a wide receiver who haven't worn number 2 before in his career. But we know that was coming, so we ain't flinching about it. It was expected. Take it, smile, then make it legendary. Keep going. All right, let's talk about this, because now we've got a couple of, like a Concord and Lexington here where, while there haven't been, major volleys of, fire been exchanged, we do have some sparks. And I think that there are fouls on both parties here. And really, I guess just two parties, because the Browns, I don't think, had done anything wrong. But we'll start the Shedeur Sanders camp side. I don't think it's fair to Shedeur that whatever the actions on social media of his camp are then pinned to him. He's his own person. These guys are their own people. I think it's a little bit of an overreach to go, whatever they do online is a reflection of you. That might be the case. I don't think that's fair, though. All right? Then there's the Cleveland media side. I can, understand to a level that when they've just been covering such a dog shit product since 1999, with the rare exception here and there, that they are a little bit more battle tested. And they're not going to be as sunshine and rainbows as some other teams' beat reporters who have had a lot of success because they've been down this path before. I still don't think it is fair to Shedeur to create negatives about the guy when he went to a local high school. Yeah, maybe it's not your cup of tea to have everything he does filmed and posted, and it kind of creates this illusion of he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart, but he's doing it so he's on camera. If that's the worst thing about the new Browns quarterback, that he likes to have a little bit of attention on him, oh my God. Think about the last couple of quarterbacks the Browns have had. And think about where that con stacks up against maybe a certain someone who got a $230 million contract and their biggest flaw. Which one's worse when it comes to stacking up the cons? So, I don't think it's fair for the media members, or I don't think it's right for the media members to get all worked up over that. I don't think it's fair for people to place the blame on Shedeur for the actions of his camp. But if we can go back to really quickly that last Instagram story, because there was one part of it that kind of caught my attention, and it was, we knew this was coming. Well, now we got some straw man arguments here, right? Now that you're tossing this out there, you're sort of tossing fuel on a fire that didn't exist. You're saying before he even got his jersey number, we anticipated our guy being disrespected by the team. Why would you believe that was the case? They drafted him. Why are you creating beef saying we knew this would happen to us? Now I feel like Shedeur goes into that locker room. He goes to meet with the coaches, and well, it's not fair on Shedeur. There's going to be this, preconceived idea and makeup of him as a person that he's someone who has a little bit of a hissy fit when he doesn't get what he wants. I don't think that's great for Shedeur to step into, Berea and have people already thinking, oh, he didn't get his jersey number and he already knew that he wouldn't get it. He's a bit of a drama queen, right? That's probably not the best foot forward when meeting with people beyond just the GM and the head coach. Because as fans, we associate the team with just the GM and the head coach. As players, most of your work is not with the GM or head coach. It's with your position coach, right? It's the quarterback coach, then it's the offensive coordinator. Like those are the guys that you're meeting with day in and day out. And then the head coach and GM are overseeing everything. So you might have met with Stefanski and Barry a lot, but now you're starting to get to know some of the other offensive coaches more. And those are guys you haven't met before. And those are guys that look at that and go, you got to be kidding me. Before this guy even gets here, he's already having a meltdown because he didn't get his jersey number? You're a rookie. Pick up a whole bunch of helmets and shoulder pads and get to the back of the line. Those are things that I don't want to see Shedeur run into because of the actions of others. And that's my fear right now. One quick question before we get towards the end of the video. Speaking of the Cleveland sports media, and not doing this to cherry pick for myself, who is your favorite reporter or like your favorite spot for Browns content, whether it's like a whole show, whether it's just one individual? I'm just curious. I feel like a lot of media members do a lot of great work, and I think it's good for them to get some recognition. So let me know in the comment section below. Let's switch gears just slightly and talk about the offseason in general. Just some schedule notes right now as we're filming this during our live show Wednesday afternoon. Rookie minicamp gets started very soon. That's May 9th through the 11th. This is syllabus week. This is freshman orientation. This is, all right, get in the school bus, and we're going to go on a field trip around the building. Here's the locker room. Here's the trainer's office. Here's the bathroom. Here's your playbook. Learn it, and we're going to test you guys tomorrow. We're going to find out who decides with a little bit of extra money in their pocket goes out, and who decides to stay in the hotel and come back the next day and know every single play possible and blow us away. This is not, all right, we're going to find out who's starting for us. No, that happens in training camp, right? This is orientation. Schedule release date comes out on May 14th. That's next Wednesday. And then OTAs begin on the 27th. They're on and off up until June 16th and 19th. And then mandatory minicamp runs in the middle of that from June 10th to the 12th. This is, I think, a better idea for the rookies of, hey, who stacks up where, right? Who maybe has a real chance of pushing for a starting role, and who's going to be someone we have to work on in practice and in training camp. To refresh your memory, here are the 7 picks the Browns made in the NFL draft, going with Mason Graham and Carson Schlesinger and Quinshon Judkins. This will sound real. This will sound weird. 3 Big Ten players in a row, including a UCLA guy. But I do want to highlight 2 just to toss out there as under the radar guys. Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. I'm very excited for where the Browns got him in round 4 when I thought he could be a round 3 guy. So from a value perspective, I like the pick a lot. But also from having a nose for the end zone with 22 rushing touchdowns last year, tossing in a couple through the air as well in his Tennessee career. Nearly 1,500 yards. Doesn't have a ton of usage on him. Only a 1-year starter for Tennessee. You can see just 422 career carries. For reference, Quinshon Judkins, he's at 800. So half of the usage, which means he's going to have maybe a little bit more spring in his step before he gets to the NFL. So Dylan Sampson is a name I'll toss out there as a guy to, just file away in the back of your mind if you want to sound smart in front of your friends of, hey, who's a good sleeper for the Browns rookies? I think that guy to Tennessee could be half decent. The other reason why I'm excited about Dylan Sampson is this ground game is hopefully going to get back on track. Now, if you want to get a Quinshon Judkins jersey, a Shedeur Sanders jersey, a Mason Graham jersey, all those jerseys for the rookies are available at chatsports.com/CLE rookies. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. So if you want to add to your Browns jersey collection, I'm talking to you, Joshua Miller, chatsports.com/CLE rookies. The other rookie I want to highlight is the tight end out of Bowling Green, Harold Fannin Jr. If the Browns did not select Shedeur Sanders, I feel like these guys would get a little bit more airtime. But of course, all the airtime is going to go to Shedeur Sanders, number 1, Mason Graham, number 2, and then I'd say Dylan Gabriel 3, Quinshon Judkins 4. So Fannin and Sampson have fallen off people's radars, but I'll take this opportunity to go, don't forget about these guys. They were really good picks. Fannin last year had 1,500 yards, 150 targets. He led the country in all these metrics, receptions, 10 touchdowns as a tight end in the MAC. You think MAC offenses are designed to force feed tight ends? No. Harold Fannin is a very fun pick. I'm really excited about this one right here. He is a yards after the catch monster. He's not going down on the first piece of contact. It's going to require more work to take him down than that. So Sampson and Fannin are 2 names just to file away in the back of your mind here as some really fun picks. I think Fannin can push to be that tight end 2 early on in training camp. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. let's pick a card to wrap up today's show. But anything else? Did I forget something? Oh, who's your favorite rookie? I forgot my own show. Yeah. Which rookie do you think is going to have, the most production this year? I'm going to say Quinshon Judkins. He's the third pick of the class, but I think he's going to see the ball the most for anyone on offense, and I think from the defensive standpoint, he'll have a larger role. So give me the rookie out of Ohio State, Quinshon Judkins. All right, now let's pick a card. I'm hot right now, by the way. Twice this week.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, twice this week.
All right, let me.
What do you think?
Let me go off the beaten path.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going 2 of hearts.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling dangerous. I'm going to go 10 of hearts. Just so everyone knows, no cheating. One more cut. 10 of hearts.
If you get this, I'll buy you dinner.
No free dinner. 5 of clubs. 5 of clubs. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see everyone later. Damn, it felt good too. Okay. We have a mailbag coming up in about 20 minutes, so start getting those questions in the chat. Use hashtag Browns or super chat like Cool Guy, Joshua Miller. Yeah, let's catch up on some of these super chats right now. You sure had Fannin on there? Yeah, he was just a backup. Yeah. It's all right. Cool Guy. I want Caleb Downs in 2026. He's going to be a very fun safety this upcoming season, and he's going to be a hot commodity going into next year's draft for sure if he, even just plays 90% of what he did last year. I don't have an issue with that idea. Like, if at that point, too, Grant Delpit will be entering the final year of his contract, so could be a nice replacement if needed. Yeah. You got 2 first-round picks next year. I like this idea, Cool Guy. It's not Cool Guy? Oh my, you're right. He spelled it out. I got duped. I feel like an old lady who just got a call from someone in India going, we'd like to help manage your finances.
Have you seen there's a clip of this random guy and he's sitting watching the draft,
Yeah.
And they say his name on the TV and he's like, did I just get drafted? Am I on TV right now?
Are you thinking of Cam Ward?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because Cam Ward was also the name of the goalie for the Carolina Hurricanes.
No. It was just this random white guy, and he's sitting and he's like drinking a beer, and he's like, it's like a skit.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there, and he's like, they say like his name, and they're like, he points at himself. He goes, did I just get drafted? That's how I feel.
Do you ever want?
Cool guys like, did I just super chat?
Do you ever think about if a celebrity at some point in your life comes out and has the same name as you? There was a guy in my fraternity in college named Russell Wilson. He was a year younger, and like when he was rushing, I was like, "Your name is Russell Wilson?" He's like, "Yes, I get this all the time." And I was like, "My name Matthew's very common. Peterson's a common last name. I'm just kind of waiting for the day where like all of a sudden the big hotshot name in college football is quarterback Matthew Peterson." I'm like, that's me. All right, Josh, did we get Deshaun Watson insurance money for 2025? Yes. If Deshaun Watson misses all, I'll save the full answer for the mailbag. But the short answer is yes. All right. One more. Josh, will Isaiah McGuire or Alex Wright have a better 2025? I will save my answer for the mailbag. But I do have an answer right off the bat. I like it. Josh, he packs a punch. Roy getting a question in. Bobby getting a question in. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. All right. I'm ready for our next segment here. We have 37 likes. Can we get 3 more likes? Can we get up to 40? 3 people that have not liked the video yet, please go ahead and do so. Then we're going to start talking about my favorite picks for the Browns in this draft, ranking them from 7 down to number 1. We're 2 likes away. 2 likes away. In my last job, there were 2. That is insane. Wait, yeah. Were you one of the 2? I have to hope so. 3 Joshua Millers is unreal. And we're at 47 likes. All right, here we go. I'm ready when you are, Reed. For today's show, I want to rank all 7 Browns draft picks this year from 7 to 1 in terms of how much I like the pick based on the player and where the Browns got him in the draft. So with that, at number 7, someone's got to be last. I went with the 3rd-round pick out of Oregon, quarterback Dillon Gabriel. Now, all fan bases go through the same mental gymnastics after the draft. They try and talk up all the picks, and they try and justify it and come to grips with it if they didn't like it initially. Gabriel is still my least favorite draft pick in this class, predominantly for 2 big reasons. One, I felt like it was very early for him in round 3. That's the main reason right here. Number 2, I personally did not have a very high grade on Gabriel coming out. Now, I'm not a quarterback whisperer. I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't say I know more about the Browns know more than the Browns do when it comes to quarterback evaluations. But it's not like teams bat 1,000 when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks. So for me, I feel like the size and being a Hawaiian native is not going to be a good fit in Northeast Ohio in December. And I have a very, very scary feeling that I can almost close my eyes and picture it now. It's going to be like Dillon Gabriel, Browns, tied game, fumbles, and it's a scoop and score. And Barstool's got a video of it with the caption of, "Who could have saw this coming? Hawaii quarterback chokes in the Northeast Ohio freezing cold." Yeah, that's my fear right now. Also, I was okay with taking a quarterback in round 3. Historically, it's not very successful. I mean, these are just starts, all right, by guys taken in round 3. Fran Tarkenton, I mean, he walked so Michael Vick could run. He's got the most starts of any quarterback selected in round 3. He's a Hall of Famer. Russell Wilson, is he a future Hall of Famer? I don't know if he is after the last few years. I don't know, Jim. Anderson played for the Bengals for a while. Ferguson played all over the place. Dan Fouts is good. But, I mean, these are all guys who played, I think, started and ended their career before I was born in 1998. And for sure, Fran, in the last 25 years since 2000, only one quarterback taken in round 3 has really been a successful 3rd-round pick of a long-term guy. So it's not a high hit rate in round 3. If they're super good, they go in round 1. If they're not very good, don't reach on them in round 2 or 3. At number 6, I hate myself. I hit spacebar. I had to put someone at 6, and I put Schlesinger at 6. I don't dislike Carson Schlesinger, but I did not do, and this is more of like my fault than, on him as a player. I didn't do a lot of pre-draft research on him because it never seemed like the Browns were going to go with a linebacker. So shame on me for that. But at pick 33, I think we can all agree we were somewhat caught off guard with this selection. Now, the more I've read, the more I've watched, the more I've grown to like the pick, to like the player. But at pick 33, he wasn't even my favorite pick in that round. So I put him at 6, and I know that's going to look bad, and I hope it ages horribly. But as of now, a 1-year starter at off-ball linebacker for the 33rd pick in the draft is not going to be one of my 3 favorite picks in this class. And I think that just speaks volumes to how much I do like the Browns draft class altogether. So Schlesinger comes in at that spot. He's going to compete with Jordan Hicks to maybe be this team's starting inside linebacker. I expect Jim Schwartz to deploy a lot of just 2 linebacker sets. So Hicks and Schlesinger until JOK is healthy. Devin Bush, he's going to compete as well. Overall, it's not like a, disrespect towards Schlesinger as a player. It's more about I just like the other picks more. That's what it boils down to. All right, let's check out my number 5 spot now. I'm going to go with Shedeur Sanders. I'm a big fan of the value. You got a quarterback in round 5. If it doesn't go well, who cares? What 5th-round pick were you banking on? Oh, no, you don't get Richard LeCounte or like a Demetric Felton. You're going to be okay if you miss on Shedeur and he's not a very good pro. You only used a 5th-round pick on him. But I am going to put him at number 5, and people are going to call me a hater and a non-believer. This is more like Schlesinger just speaking to the love I have for the rest of the Browns draft. I think they made some really good picks that I'm just not going to ignore and put below Sanders because Shedeur's got the name value. Going into the draft, I was not high on Shedeur at all, right? I got blocked by people on Twitter for having just sound arguments of I feel like Shedeur is not a first round pick. First round pick. And I got proven right by 32 GMs. So I don't see what a lot of people see in Shedeur when it comes to him being this, Mel Kiper, elite quarterback of this class, number one guy, long-term starter. No, I feel like the lack of mobility and the lack of arm strength and the inability to get the ball out quickly and taking a ton of sacks is going to be a problem for him on Sundays. So for it being round 5, I can get behind it because you're not going to cost yourself anything if he doesn't work out. But I still like other players more who I think are going to have longer, more successful NFL careers. So they're going to go ahead of Shedeur in my rankings. Before we look at the rest of my favorite picks for this draft class, quick shout out to our friends over at Brunt. Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they didn't last. And if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Brunt Workwear finally ended that trade-off, designing boots that withstand the toughest job sites while feeling as comfortable as your favorite sneakers. Now, as a full-time, more or less, YouTuber, I'm not going to pretend that I do a lot of hard manual work out there. But if that is someone like you, if you are a hard-working American that's on your feet every single day, then I really want you to check out Brunt because they're giving the Dog Pound $10 off when they use code CHAT at checkout. Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot. They reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt by using code CHAT at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use code CHAT and you are all set. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support the Browns Report and tell them our show sent you. I put all this information in the comments and description of today's video. All right. Let's talk about number 4 on my list now. I've got Dylan Sampson at number 4. And I don't want anyone thinking like these guys are bad in my eyes. It's just someone's got to be ahead of them. And I like the Sampson selection a lot. I feel like it was a good sleeper pick and kind of a good value pick for round 4. I think he could have been a starting running back for a handful of other teams. Last year for the Vols, in his first season as a starter, nearly 1,500 yards, 22 touchdowns. He had a nose for the end zone from all over the field. So I'm a big fan of the Sampson pick. But what I really like about the pick is what it allows Kevin Stefanski to get back to. And that is having a dual threat rushing attack, right? Between Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins, along with, let me back up here. Sorry. I was going to say just keep it on there. We could just read only it afterwards. All right. Wow, this has just become a video of hell. Here we go. I'm a big fan of this Dylan Sampson selection because of what it allows the Browns to get back to. Look at what Cleveland did on the ground from 2020 to 2022 with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. They were averaging nearly 150 yards a game, 30 carries a game. Then, since Nick Chubb went down and it was predominantly the Jerome Ford show, look where the carries went. Look at the yardage going down. They're getting nearly a yard less a carry. Touchdowns cut more than by 50%. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the record dips below 500. So Dylan Sampson, I think, allows Stefanski to get back to what success he had with Chubb and Hunt, having a dual threat in his running back room, or a two-headed running back monster. Someone who can bring the thunder in like Quinshon Judkins, but also have a little bit of speed and power with Dylan Sampson. It's not like Kareem Hunt was just a speedster. He had no problem lowering the shoulder and pushing his way into the end zone. And Sampson did that so well last year in Knoxville. So I think this is a great pick for Stefanski to get back to square one for what he wants to do offensively before he changed everything for Deshaun Watson. So I'll put Sampson at number 4 on my list. Coming in at number 3, I've got Harold Fannin out of Bowling Green, the tight end. I could flip-flop 4 and 3, but I think Fannin's going to be a Pro Bowl tight end. I think he is that special of a prospect at that position who only fell as far as he did, which wasn't super far, into early round 3 because he didn't play at a traditional Power 4 school. So people are going to knock him because of the lack of competition. But kudos to Andrew Berry and the Browns for not letting that factor in too much to their decision. Here's a guy with 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns his last year. He is a yards after contact, yards after catch machine. I think Fannin is going to emerge as one of the better tight ends in football in a short amount of time. And with Njoku getting towards 30, dealing with a lot of injuries as of late, having, I think, just 1 year left on his contract, Fannin, I think, was a great pick for with Njoku and post the Chief as well. Plus, you can find quality tight ends in round 3 of the draft. Go back the last 15 years. Dawson Knox, solid. Mark Andrews. Travis Kelce was a 3rd rounder. Jimmy Graham, Jared Cook. So, while it's tough to find good quarterbacks in round 3, you can find some very good tight ends in round 3. So don't overlook Fannin just because he wasn't a 1st or 2nd round pick. At number 2, I'm going to go with Mason Graham. I don't think I would have thought that I'd have him at number 2 when the pick was made because my reaction was very much disappointment because of Ashton Genty being available, and I think Genty's just going to be an awesome running back. But I've definitely warmed up to Graham, and this is probably just a little bit of confirmation bias of I want to believe it, so I'm searching for things to help me believe it. But I've come up with a nice pros and cons list for Graham here, and there's a lot to like about this when it comes to his ability to control the line of scrimmage. And in the AFC North, that is so important. You go back to when the Steelers and the Ravens were really running things, and how are they doing it? It wasn't because Flacco and Roethlisberger were a couple of just, high-scoring offenses. It was those defenses. It was the Steelers' defense. It was the Ravens' defense. And Graham, right in the middle of that defensive line, is going to make sure that everyone else around him can do their job to the fullest. Teams can't just double miles every time because they got to worry about Graham as well. Linebackers are going to have the ability to make plays in the backfield because offensive linemen can't get to the second level and start blocking Hicks and Schlesinger. Graham is not a pass rush god. Only 3.5 sacks last year. A lot of those sacks came in the first, 2 or 3 weeks of the season against Minnesota. But he is a leverage machine, and he is going to dominate at the point of attack. So when the Browns made the move back to get Graham and bypass Travis Hunter, I know at that moment it was a tough pill to swallow because everyone got excited for Hunter. But then you toss in Graham, Judkins, that's the pick you got from Jacksonville. Those two along with an unknown commodity, a first-round pick next year. Not a bad bet that Jacksonville will pick early again. They do it pretty often. Those 3 guys, which we cannot grade this trade until that first rounder next year, all for one player in Travis Hunter. I'll tell you what, even before they make that pick next year, I think I'd rather have Graham and Judkins over Travis Hunter. We haven't gotten to maybe the best pick of the entire thing. Their first rounder next season from Jacksonville. And at that point, I think it's going to be a heavy favorite for the Browns in that trade. At number 1, I have Quinshon Judkins, the Ohio State running back. Love the player. Love the positional pick for Cleveland. I was a little worried that the Browns were just going to overlook running back. Go, we like Jerome Ford. We can find a good player in round 4, which they did with Dylan Sampson. But they made it in a priority of theirs to go out and say, we're going to find a new number 1 back. We're going to go out and find a new guy that's going to get us 250 carries, 1,300 yards, and 8 touchdowns. We're going to find our new Nick Chubb. And that sucks to say out loud, but I'd rather they accept the reality than trying to live in the past pre-injury for Chubb. I can't wait for Judkins to step on the field for Cleveland. I think he is going to be instantly a fan favorite player and instantly one of the better players on this offense. I think Judkins and Judy are going to form a great tandem of skilled players on this Browns offense. So he comes in at number 1 for me. The production through the roof. If he played all 3 seasons at Ole Miss, he's going to the Chargers at 22 instead of Omarion Hampton. But he goes to Ohio State to win a natty, and because of that, his stock takes a dip because now he's splitting touches with Travion Henderson. But good for him. He gets the national championship that he was searching for, and he still goes relatively early in the draft, and I think Judkins is going to have a great career with the Cleveland Browns. So that's my favorite pick for the Browns when you factor in how much I like the player and where they got him in the draft, right? Getting him at 36, just like how Nick Chubb would go in round 1 in a redraft, give it a few more years, and Judkins is going to go round 1 in a redraft. All right, that will do it for us on today's episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Let's pick a card to wrap up today's show. Which card you thinking, Reed?
I was going to go with Jack of Clubs.
Okay.
But I'm actually going with Ace of Clubs.
All right, I'll go in the middle. I'll go King of Clubs. The clubs have been friendly to me. 5 of spades. 5 of spades. Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing everyone in our next video. Until then, go Brownies. Mailbag coming up next. If you have a question, use hashtag Browns or Super Chat. We've got a handful of Super Chats. Did we get one more? Maybe, maybe not. No? Okay. No, we got Joshua Miller, the $2 Super Chat. Trivia. There we go, Josh. I love it. Way to play the host. Name the 3 NFL teams that have never picked number 1. I know the Seattle Seahawks have never picked number 1. Yeah, the Seahawks have never picked number 1. Buccaneers have. Jameis. I don't think the Rams have the chart. Have the Chargers picked 1? Seahawks, I know for a fact. I'm not sure if the Ravens have picked 1. I don't know. I don't think the Baltimore Ravens have picked 1. Baltimore Colts, possibly. Baltimore Ravens, no. And then I'm going to say have the 49ers picked first overall?
All right. I'm gonna give you a
Josh, I got 2 out of 3.
I was going to say you're at 2 out of 3 right now. So be careful.
Okay.
Cuz you could go 100% right now.
I know Seahawks. I knew that as a fun fact. And then the Baltimore Ravens, no. I'm thinking combination of the newer teams got the first overall pick.
The last team
have
the last team that it is.
Yeah.
I thought about it, but I was like, I don't know, but that team popped up in my head and it is that team.
Okay. I don't recall the Denver Broncos ever obtaining the number 1 pick.
You are correct. Wow. Look at that.
Let's go.
This guy's on a roll this week.
Denver did not even draft Elway. He was drafted by the Colts. And he had that famous, so he was drafted by the Colts. Fun draft story. And he said, I'm not going to play for the Colts. And he was from the West Coast, and he's like, I'm not playing for the Colts. I'm not playing out there. And the reporter asked, like, well, won't you play for the Yankees? And he's like, the Yankees play in the summer. And I was like, that's a pretty good, hard to argue that. All right, here we go. Let's get into our mailbag. If you have any questions, we'll use all these super chats. Let's end with this trivia one right here. I won't reveal the answer in the video. Yeah. So if you have a question, throw it in the chat right now. You just got to use hashtag Browns somewhere in your message so our software can identify the question and pull it and put it on screen. If you think of a question you are dying to ask and you want to support the channel, super chat and you see it gets on screen almost instantly for everyone watching to see. Okay. I'm ready whenever you guys are. I got that Elway story like 85% right. There's a fun like back and forth he had with a reporter about it. Someone can go like watch it and tell me either where I went right or where I went wrong. Ryan, great question. Thank you so much. If we can lead off with Ryan Clark's question. We'll start off with Ryan Clark's, and then we'll get to those. Baltimore Colts definitely. I think Elway was taken first overall by the Baltimore Colts. The Baltimore Colts, I believe, used the first overall pick on John Elway. All right. It is almost showtime. Yep. Mailbag time here on the Cleveland Browns Report. I'm answering questions that came in during our live show, which airs every single Wednesday afternoon. Quick reminder, click the share button down below. Help get more eyeballs on the channel so we can continue to grow. So let's get into our very first question now. Ryan Clark, do you think the Browns should sign Gabe Davis? So the Jags released the former Buffalo Bill receiver who they signed in the 2024 offseason to a 3-year, $36 million contract. He had a very disappointing 2024 campaign with the Jags. Only played in 10 games. He had less than 300 yards. He's not a burner. I think he ran like around a 4.5 something in the 40-yard dash at the combine. I just knew he was not one of the fastest guys out there. And usually around this time period, Andrew Berry, 4.5 what? 4.54. So usually around this time, Andrew Berry sniffs around Marquise Goodwin's, Jakeem Grant's, right? Guys who are vertical threats. So Davis maybe not fit that mold the best, but he still can stretch the field. He's still a good vertical threat. He just is not a speed demon in that traditional sense. But after signing Deontay Johnson, I'm thinking they're content to go with, hey, Cedric Tillman bouncing back, Jerry Jeudy, we got for sure. We know what we have in him. Deontay Johnson, and then Jamari Thrash, a day 3 pick last year out of Louisville. Some other youngins. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't think it'd be a bad signing. I don't think the Browns are set and ready to go at wide receiver. But I'm thinking that they made their veteran receiver acquisition already with Johnson. Ben, Chop Chop Newsboy, what's up with Shedeur? We talked about this in a video we posted on the channel already. But to summarize it, we've got Shedeur's camp throwing kind of grenades at Cleveland media and then throwing a little bit of friendly fire at the Cleveland Browns themselves for letting DeAndre Carter wear number 2, and that's Shedeur's number. Overall, I don't think those actions can be placed on Shedeur. I don't think it's fair to Shedeur, but I do think Shedeur has to recognize that the actions of people associated with him are going to reflect on him. Right or wrong, that's going to be what happens. So I think that part as a rookie needs to be cleaned up because as a rookie, you're not supposed to be heard from. You're supposed to fly under the radar. And that's not really happening so far. Cool guy named Zone. I want Caleb Downs in 2026. Grant Delpit signed a 3-year extension. He'll be entering the final year of his contract next offseason. Would not mind adding the Ohio State safety. He is awesome. Roy from good old Germany. Will they cut one quarterback after preseason games? Could it also be Pickett? I think they look to trade first. They dealt Josh Dobbs for a 5th-round draft pick. I'm fascinated to see what comes out of this quarterback room. Like, if all guys are healthy, excluding Watson, of course, I think the Browns like Kenny Pickett more than I want them to like him. I don't, but I think they do. And I don't think they signed Flacco just to hang around for the summer. I think they view Flacco as their best opportunity to win early in the season. And I think they want Gabriel and Shedeur to, battle it out with Pickett and figure out who the next best quarterback is. And then of those 3 guys, they hope that quarterback can maybe take a leap forward in the last third of the season to show future starting potential. But if they release Shedeur Sanders, which happens to a lot of guys on roster cut down day, and they don't get claimed and they go to the practice squad, that's a big risk you run because another team could easily claim Shedeur. They don't have to worry about that problem right now. That's still way down the road, but I'm thinking they're going to look to trade before cut. The entertainer. After seeing the body of work Sanders put out through his career, he may be the best investment long-term right now from the draft. Your thoughts? If I swapped out Sanders with Dillon Gabriel, wouldn't this statement be more true? Dillon Gabriel, I think, had a better collegiate career through the body of work. Right? I don't know if we can really even argue that. So, if we're going off of body of work from college, how is it not Dillon Gabriel? I think Shedeur showed plenty of good stuff, especially at Colorado, where I, evaluate him more than the competition he played at Jackson State. But if we're using that as as our cornerstone pieces for figuring out the best long-term piece, body of work, it's got to be Dillon Gabriel. Bobby Johnson, what are your thoughts on the Deontay Johnson signing? It's a no-risk signing. There's no guaranteed money assigned to his contract. So they can cut him at any point, and it costs him nothing other than time. I don't have high expectations for Johnson. He's been on 4 different teams in like 12 months. He was on the Steelers in March of last year, traded to the Panthers, then traded in season to the Baltimore Ravens, then released by the Ravens for the Houston Texans, who cut him while they were going to the playoffs. You were on 2 different teams that were playoff bound, and I don't know how you managed to screw that up so well, but you got released by both teams. Yeah, this to me does not seem like a guy I want in the locker room. If you can harness what he had in Pittsburgh for a few years, then it's an awesome signing. But no, seen this before, I don't think it ends well. Before we look at the other questions, I do want to give you guys a quick heads up that there are jerseys available over at Fanatics for the Browns rookie class. You can get a Shedeur Sanders jersey. You can get a Mason Graham jersey. They've also got Quinshon Judkins jerseys. So just use our link, chatsports.com/CLE rookies. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. It helps support the channel. So if you don't mind and you're going to get a jersey anyway, use this link. Loverboy Charlie, do you think we are going to address the kicker position? Great question. No. I think they're going to just toss Dustin Hopkins back out there. And I think they are going to accept how bad of a year it was a season ago and that he quietly cost them a lot of games. Like that Saints game. But he was not the biggest problem they had. And they gave him a 3-year extension. And they're going to hope that he can just bounce back and pretend like the year before never happened. I'm not a big enough kicker expert to know, hey, fundamentally where he went wrong from a technical standpoint. But Bubba Ventrone has his work cut out for him, and I'm guessing that they do not bring another kicker in. Christopher Stofire, $2 super chat. How much playtime will our rookie tight end Harold Fanning get? Well, let's look at the Browns tight end room really quick here because he doesn't have a ton of really steep competition above him. Like he's got Njoku, but unfortunately the Chief has missed a lot of time over the last couple of seasons. So it's Blake Whiteheart and then guys we've never heard of before. So I think in a much heavier 12 personnel set, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, there's no reason why Fanning can't take over as tight end 2 ahead of Blake Whiteheart by the end of training camp. So if we look at the Browns rookie class really quickly, I'll just kind of rattle off 1 through 7 off the top of my head who gets the most snaps this year. If all guys are healthy, most snaps I think goes to number 1, Quinshon Judkins. Number 2, Mason Graham. Number 3, Carson Schlesinger. Number 4, Harold Fanning. Number 5, Dillon Gabriel. Number 5, Dylan Sampson. Wrong Dylan. Number 6, I'll go with Dillon Gabriel. Number 7, Shedeur Sanders. Chris, thank you so much for your super chat and your question. Kathy, what are we doing about the offensive line? Well, for one, Andrew Berry is not putting his foot in his mouth this offseason. He is not saying that certain guys will be back by a certain time like he did last year for Jack Conklin, Jed Wills, and DeJuan Jones. But they added some nice pieces on the interior. Tevin Jenkins was a good starter for Chicago when healthy. So if Wyatt Teller goes down with a knee injury again, or Joel Petonio's back injury flares up, and they don't love what they have in Zach Zinter, third-round pick from Michigan last year, they've got Jenkins, who is a starting caliber player when healthy, but he just hasn't been available enough. So from the interior standpoint, you've got that. From the offensive tackle standpoint, who did they add? Because they added someone. His name is escaping me. They added... Sorry. Oh, Cornelius Lucas. That was their first signing. There it is, yeah. So Lucas, I think, has a real shot of being a week one starter at left tackle. DeJuan Jones, I don't know how he's been this offseason, but if he is not taking care of his rehab and conditioning, like a lot of players with a ton of weight tend to do, not manage their weight well. I mean, there were reports last year that Jones was like 25, 30 pounds overweight. So Cornelius Lucas has been a long-time starter in the league, especially for the Washington football team, Redskins, Commanders. He is a much better swing tackle than James Hudson. Josh, you're on screen. Would Dillon Gabriel have been a first-round pick if he was 6'3" and 220? This is Nathan Segura. Yeah, I saw the Browns color commentator say that this would have been the case. No, I don't think so. Because I feel that a lot of the knocks that have come up for Gabriel sure have been rooted in size, but also have been, hey, you played 6 years of college football, and while there is plenty to admire and like about his game, a lot of the things that he excelled at, I think, came with experience in college. And that's great for your college career. Not sure if that's going to translate well to the next level. He didn't really have a ton of great physical traits. And I wonder if he got as far as he did because he was picking on guys not his age. Joshua Miller, our last question. All right, some trivia. Name the 3 NFL teams that have never picked number 1. We answered this question during our live show, so I'm not going to spoil it, but we'll put the answer in the comment section. So scroll on down, but great trivia by Josh. Let's pick a card to call it a video. What are you thinking, Reed?
10 of diamonds. Come on.
Give me the 2 of hearts. I don't think so. It's been the day of the 5s. 5 of hearts. 5 of hearts. I think we've done 5 of clubs, spades, and hearts. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode. If you like it, click the like button on your way out, and I'll see everyone next time. All right. Anyone get it? No. All right. That will do it for us on today's show. Greatly appreciate everyone who tunes into our live show every single week. Hopefully you guys have a great great rest of your Wednesday. I was going to say what my Wednesday plans are. I'm not very excited for them. Take an educated guess. I'm getting married in 3.5 weeks.
Wedding tasting.
No, that I did, and that was fun because it involved eating food.
I
what would be something I'm not super excited for that's tied or that's tied to that?
Oh, you have to buy things, don't you?
No, I don't have to buy anything. To go do something. Dance lessons.
Oh,
yeah.
No!
That's going to suck.
See, I thought it was tasting because you're on a diet and you're like, well, I can't have anything.
Jesus, Josh. All right. We'll throw He's Him super chat on screen, and then we'll call it a show. Oh. Now you're getting a question. Usually I'm the one that takes the grenades. Now they're coming to you. All right. 2 questions from He's Him. Thank you, He's Him. And Reed. People want to know. Reed had a date. Hopefully she's watching right now. 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, like a couple weeks ago. We're like still texting and stuff, but haven't been on a second date yet.
Are you going to plan one?
I don't know yet.
One quick question. How much for a super chat for you to text her right now? What are you doing this weekend?
No.
Yes, you got to give him a number. Got to give him a number. Come on. Don't make it outrageous. Just toss a number out there.
$50.
Okay, that's fair. I'll put like a 2-minute timer on my phone. I'm gonna watch though. You better do if we get $50 super chat for Reed to text the girl he went on a date with. And then we got another super chat from He's Him. Timer's running. See if we can get a $50 super chat in the next 2 minutes for Reed to text the girl he went on a date with. What are you doing this weekend?
What is that?
Oh, you don't. It's like the.
Is that like how crazy?
So
or
all
how,
girls
like, freaky you are?
all girls are a minimum 4 crazy.
Oh.
Right, but they can be 0 through 10 in terms of hotness. So you can't find a 0 crazy, 10 hot. They all start at a 4.
Right.
So they want to know where is she at in that. Hopefully she's not watching. I'm going to go on a limb here and say she's not a Browns report.
No.
Stan.
But I'm still not gonna say that.
Boo. All right, we got a minute and change until the 2-minute timer's up. Yolanda, how smart was the Giants coach Brian Daboll? He let Saquon Barkley leave and win a Super Bowl with the Eagles. Yeah. Dana, I say is, oh my God! He's him! Himself! A $50 super chat at like 1:15. You got to do it. It's what do we say? What are your plans this weekend? What are your plans this weekend? What are your plans? I'm gonna watch. I'm not gonna subject you to show your whole conversation with her to the audience. I'm gonna make sure though. Well, to be fair, He's Him sent a $50 super chat in. So I don't just what to tell you, dude. This weekend. I'm gonna look so I can get confirmation. Yep. Reed is not happy right now. He is not thrilled with this transaction. He's him. Credit to you, dude.
Hey, thanks for the $50
I mean,
super chat.
you pretty much he threw up the alley and then put down the oop off the glass, dunked it himself. Wow. Let's see. Let's give it 60 seconds to see if she responds, and then we'll sign off. Because I'm not gonna keep forcing you to text her again.
That's actually electric.
Yeah. Oh, imagine if one of our coworkers like watches the show and was like, I was watching my show yesterday and they lost a $50 bet to text this girl, what are you doing this weekend? And then she realized I was on the other end of that bet. All right. Well, He's Him just made it weird. So we'll throw He's Him super chat on screen and then we'll call it a day. He's Him, you should have gone out on top. This was you on top right here. Thank you, by the way, for the super chat. It's very kind and generous of you. All right. Well, she's legal, so that's all you. He's Him. Where does she rank on your metric? Right? It's only fair. Now we're going to put you in the tough spot. He's Him. All right.
He was doing so well.
He was. I mean, freedom of speech. Let's throw it on there. We're waiting. There it is. This is surely going to go over well with all my, viewership.
We're turning into a dating show. Look what AFX said.
Bro, set me up. He's Him. I'd say that the answer to this question, if you define friends as like people, because I like friends in college, but like I don't hang out with them anymore. I don't live in the same state as them. So if I can count that as part of like my overarching definition of friends, I don't know, 3 kids in my fraternity that I'd hang out with. I would feel comfortable texting, going, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" And then since moving to Dallas, guy who went to Tennessee, that was a part of like the Tennessee group here that we'd hang out with, like me and the other Tennessee guy, the 3 of us. So, I'd say 5 from high school to now. Five guys that I would say I'd text at some point, or would not be weird to text of, "Hey, what are you doing?" based on how close we are. AFX, we are not YouTube Tinder. I'm going to get so many weird comments now from like horny singles in your area in the comment section. All right, here we go. Let's call it a show. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Always appreciate the fun banter we have like this at the end of the show. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see everyone back tomorrow morning for another edition of the Cleveland Browns Report.